I had not wanted to pull into a blocked, chaotic intersection, but verbally agreed to do so and rolled down my window after an agent yelled, "Move, I will break your effing window." His first instruction. Agents on all sides of my vehicle yelled conflicting threats and instructions that I could not process while watching for pedestrians. Then the glass of the passenger side window flew across my face. I yelled, "I'm disabled," at the hands grabbing at me, and an agent said, "Too late." I felt immersed in a pattern, and I thought of Genoa Donald, an autistic black man killed by police during a traffic stop in 2021. I remembered Mr. Sliberio Gonzalez, who was killed by ICE in his vehicle last year. An agent pulled a large combat knife in front of my face, which I thought was for cutting me, and later learned was used to cut off my seatbelt. Shooting pain went through my head, neck, and wrists when I hit the ground face first and people leaned on my back. I felt the pattern, and I thought of Mr. George Floyd, who was killed 4 blocks away. I was carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled. I now cannot lift my arms normally. I was never asked for ID, never told I was under arrest, never read my rights, and never charged with a crime. Approaching the Whipple Center, I saw black and brown bodies shackled together, chained together, being marched by yelling agents outdoors. I continue to hear the word bodies because that is how agents refer to us. We're bringing in a body. They're bringing in bodies, 7, 8 at a time. Where do I put them? We can't use that room. There's already a body in there. You have no reason to believe you will make it out alive if you are already being called a body. Agents repeatedly had to stop and ask how to do tasks. I received no medical screening, phone call, or access to a lawyer. I was denied a communication navigator when my speech began to slur. Agents laughed as I tried to immobilize my own neck. I asked for my cane and was told no, pulled up my arms and prodded forward in leg irons by agents laughing and saying, "Walk, you can do it, walk." Agents did not know if the facility had a wheelchair. When I was finally placed in one to be taken to interrogation, an agent taunted, "You were driving, right? So your legs do work." I pleaded for emergency medical care for over an hour after my vision had become blurry, my heart rate went through the roof, and the pain in my neck and head became unbearable. It was denied. When I became unable to speak, my cellmate pleaded for me. The last sounds I remember before I blacked out on the cell floor were my cellmate banging on the door, pleading for a medic, and a voice outside saying, "We don't want to step on ICE's toes." When I opened my eyes at Hennepin County's emergency room, I learned I was brought there to be treated for assault.
Chad Michael, Independent Media, would you want to say a few words?
Well,
what's happening here today?
Just basically, it's total chaos. It's total chaos. I'm an immigration attorney, and the people who are being detained are being denied access to their lawyers. We used to prepare people for times like this, and we said, memorize our numbers so you can call us. They don't even get phone calls. Half the time, people can't even determine where their loved one is. And they're sending most people to Camp East Montana in El Paso, Fort Bliss. It's disgusting. Multiple people have died there, and they're sending everybody now who's apprehended. They're sending them to Camp East Montana.
Right.
And then what does that mean for their chances of getting out? And this is a habeas petition that was granted, and they can't find the woman. That is the trouble. That is the trouble. They don't know where she is.
Right. And I've also heard reports of detainees being released without their cell phones and without...
That is a big problem too. And then a lot of people earn money in cash, and they're carrying large sums of money. And when they get detained, who gets that money?
Right. And their IDs have gone missing from what I've heard as well.
When they release people, they won't give back their work permit or their social.
That's what I'm hearing as well.
And do you know how hard it is to replace a work permit? Months. Months.
Yep.
Yeah. So that this operation is illegal on so many levels that it's hard to fathom. And the people who claim to be lawyers who are working for them, they have to quit their jobs. And that's why you've seen multiple people. A law clerk at the immigration court left because she can't handle it anymore. You have to keep your ethics at the center of what you do all the time. That's really all I have to say.
Absolutely.
And these people are operating with no moral center. They have a hatred toward other people. And that's why they can so easily kill Renee. Did you see when that happened? Bop, bop, bop. She got killed. He didn't care, and then he called her a fucking bitch.
No accountability. No
accountability.
No accountability.
Not only that, but he's being protected. And that is what is happening right now. We are losing the rule of law. We are losing the rule of law, and there's a fight going on with the federal judges here in Minnesota because they are not open to that. They do not want the rule of law to be eviscerated.
Yeah.
So look into
Thank
that
you so
issue.
much.
Judge Schlitz is fighting with the Trump administration
Judge
right
Schlitz.
now. Look up his order.
Thank you so much for your time.
People are trying to get their kids to school, and you're out here threatening and terrorizing people. You human trafficking Nazi pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of our city. We do not want you here. Get out of our city, you aggressive, violent, murdering Nazi scum! Put your weapon away, you baby! You fucking pathetic piece of shit!
They're running. They're running. They're running.
A 37-year-old lady in a beanie in a Honda Pilot with stuffies in the passenger seat. You thought this lady was a crazed murderer? She talked to you. She just talked to you. I will not be fucking gaslit by these people. And I will not calm down the rhetoric and tone it down and be like, oh, you got to understand the other perspective. Jonathan Ross murdered her. She talked to him calmly, said, dude, I'm not mad. Other agents stormed her car. She was afraid. He walks around to the front. She turns her wheel to get away from him. You can see that clearly. He can see it clearly.
No more secret police. No more disappearing people. This is the United States of America. We're not supposed to fear our government. Our government is supposed to fear us.
We are seeing continued rolling, huge anti-ICE protests everywhere now. And it's not just old folks, and it's not just young folks. It's old folks and young folks and everybody in between. I mean, just in Los Angeles, 3 straight days of 3 really big days of anti-ICE, anti-Trump protests in that city. Also outside the sheriff's office in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also Indianapolis, Indiana in the snow, and Westerville, Ohio in the snow. We saw bike rides to honor Alex Preddy, who was killed by Trump's agents in the streets of Minneapolis. Bike rides for Alex Preddy in Minneapolis and in New York City and in Austin and in Boise and in Denver and in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and many, many, many more. Protests inside the Target stores in Minneapolis. Target is headquartered in Minneapolis. Locals there want that company to keep ICE out of its stores and out of its parking lots. They want Target to use its influence as a corporation to push back against Trump on what Trump's agents are trying to do to people and are doing to people in Target's home city. You see ongoing protests in Mount Kisco, New York, and Portland, Oregon, and New York City, and Belleville, Illinois, and on the beach in Ocean Beach, California. We have eyes, no more lies. Abolish ICE. High schools all over the country walked out on Friday. Abolish ICE. Rolling anti-ICE protests everywhere now. And the national media has now caught up to the fact that this is happening, and this is very much the temperature of the country right now. The national media has now caught up to the fact that Americans everywhere are fiercely resolute and dedicated in their opposition to what Trump is doing and their willingness to show it. The next big nationwide No King's Day protest is planned for March 28th. You may want to put that on your calendar now, March 28th, which is a Saturday. At the earlier No King's Day protests, literally millions of Americans protested. They were some of the largest protest days in American history. This next one, given what we're seeing in the streets right now, could end up being a very big deal, March 28th. But, I mean, just speaking strategically, I think anybody who studies movements like this in any country, anywhere in the modern world, will tell you that keeping the pressure on a would-be authoritarian state is never more important than when they're wobbling, when they're on the defensive, when they're losing their will, when they're falling apart, which right now they are.
But I will say that this was a breaking point for me in the way that the administration responded to it. Like, I didn't think what's happening right now with ICE could happen in America. I genuinely did not think that was possible. I thought our institution, I thought the Constitution would hold up. when I see it and then immediately defend it, I start to go, we gotta be very loud about this. Like it all of a sudden becomes not like liberal catastrophic thinking. It starts to become very reasonable, nuanced criticism of the administration. They have just made the most far left critiques of the Trump administration. Their reaction to this has just justified all of them. In one moment, all of their responses from Trump to Kash Patel, they have justified every single and I know people will probably look at this and be like, they've done a million other things to justify them. Sure, and that's fair. But this specific situation, I think, is a breaking point, and it has justified all those criticisms. I think people's antennas are way up, and people's antennas up that were not up initially.
This is like seeing the Epstein files. Because it's like,
wouldn't it be nice if we got those?
It's like, damn, y'all really been lying to us. Like, damn, like you really been lying to us. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
The Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned two names. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more transparent?
The fact that they thought they released too much. I heard that, and you tell me something else. So, I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Really. Now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
But what would you say to people who feel like they haven't gotten justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about. Yeah, what do you say? Go
what
ahead.
would you
So why are Republicans so interested in Bill and Hillary Clinton? It's because they're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times. In those files, there's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children. So I encourage your press to go look at these allegations, and I'm highly disturbed that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just got the law wrong. Yesterday, he said, essentially, that it is not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, that's actually not correct. If Jeffrey Epstein was human trafficking minors for these sex parties, and you show up and patronize the establishment at that party, yes, you're guilty, because patronizing is part of the law, of the federal sex trafficking law. So Deputy General Todd Blanche just got that wrong, which maybe explains why they aren't investigating all these folks, including Donald Trump. He needs to read the law and investigate these people. He also needs to resign, not only for not knowing the law, but a massive, not only screw up, but the biggest privacy violation in history. They release a lot of pictures of minors unredacted, just violated the privacy of these girls. It is uncalled for what they did. The one thing that they could not do under this law was to invade the privacy of these women now, who were girls at the time, who were victims of sex trafficking. Also, he met with Ghislaine Maxwell, moved her to a minimum security prison, and then got a puppy for her. So for all those reasons, he's just got to leave the Department of Justice.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, It's the trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Make sure you got the audio. Let's go testing. 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. Yep. There I am. All right. I can hear myself. All right. It is 11:40 a.m. in the old Pacific time zone. And it is currently, it's already 71 freaking motherfucking degrees out. I haven't stepped outside yet today, so that's why I was a little shocked. It's already 71. We have a daytime high of 76, overnight low of 45. I was out and about yesterday. It felt like a beautiful spring day. I hate to complain. It was beautiful. I was loving it, but fuck. Jesus Christ. This is only February. It's February 4th. It feels like April 4th. Anyhow, if Donald Trump doesn't get us and kill us all, fucking global warming is going to do it. So I guess we're screwed either way. Good morning, Power of Positivity here, coming at you. Let me fill that blank spot. I hate the blank spot. Here we got some good news, maybe, or I don't know. Maybe it's not good news for everybody. I don't know how long we're gonna keep that big sourpuss there. But Melania, the movie, the documentary, is being called the biggest flop of all time. I believe it. I'm calling it that, so that must be true. Biggest flop of all time. Anyhow, I don't know if I want to keep her on there, I didn't really load up a bunch of stuff. Everything else is memes we've already seen. I guess, just remember, folks, pedophilia is not accepted and protected by the Republican Party. Republican Party is the party of the pedophiles, pedophile protectors, all that shit, Pizzagate, all that shit was all projection. Everything they've ever said about Democrats, it's all been projection. That's all they do is they project. And the things going on nowadays with ICE and all of the murders, ICE murdering people, it all comes from the top. It's all coming from this motherfucker. That's why Trump needs to be imprisoned. In my humble opinion, and my most humblest of opinions. And then through it all, through all of this shit, I should move this one to the top so that we never forget to. I should put this on every single live stream that I do, at least on these ones here. This one here should be right there. release the goddamn Epstein files. And I know they've been releasing shit, but they're not doing it right. They're redacting stuff they're not supposed to be redacting. They're not redacting stuff that they should be redacting. Oh yeah, I don't know how I said that, but you know what I mean. They're pretty much exposing the survivors and the victims. Well, and they're still protecting the fucking perpetrators. Epstein. ICE. These are the two main issues going on right now in America. You know, it wasn't good enough for these ICE fucking Nazis, these Gestapo, ICE, not so nice bastards. It wasn't good enough that they would just yank people out of their cars and slam them down to the ground and kick the shit out of them, and then at point blank range just spray pepper spray or tear gas or whatever the fuck it was directly in their faces. That's not good enough. Then they had to start taking their guns out and just filling people full of lead. These ICE cocksuckers are sick, twisted bastards. They're bastard people. And it comes down, that comes down from the top. Because Donald Trump is a sick, twisted bastard person himself. He is sick. He's twisted. I believe he has raped children. And as I hear more and more things coming out, I believe that he certainly gave orders for people to be killed. This was his little mafia operation. He always wanted to be a crime boss, like a real godfather, you know. But in his billionaire circle, because these are all billionaires, most of them, in this Epstein file bullshit. Either they're billionaires or they have positions of power, high power, you know. And this man has felt like he was the big Don, and he was issuing hits, threatening people with their lives if they talked. This is Donald Trump. This is our president. This is who 77 million of our fellow Americans voted for. Should all be ashamed, anyone who voted for Donald Trump, especially in 2024, when we had a good, better part of a decade to see what an awful, awful, awful human being he is. Just an awful person who really doesn't deserve the air that he's taking up. Anyhow, let me say hi. I do see Sandy Foltz was first. Thank you, Sandy Foltz, for being here. Petrazi was here. Josh C's, always good to see Josh C's in the chat. Paul Burrows was here. Williams here, or was here. Some of these are pretty old, so I don't know if people have left and said hi and then left or whatever. Anna Moore, hello Anna Moore, good to see Anna. Thanks for coming on in the old driver's lounge. Anna says, hello fellow trucklers. Let's stay safe. GOP, please do your job and impeach 47. I wonder if they will do that. I wonder. Nola Carnes is here. Hello, Nola Carnes. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Thanks for popping on in. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Robert Perez from down San Diego ways here. Hey, Robert Perez, good to see you. Let's see what smart ass thing Robert Perez has to say today. Robert Perez says, "Yo, Trucker John, checking in from Octapharma Plasma in San Diego, getting ready to get drained of my blood for blood money." Laughing out loud. You know, I guess it was a couple months ago. I went ahead and I tried that because they have these things all over Vegas, and so they have one close by. So I thought, let me go see. I think they're paying like $100 to give some plasma. So I go, I sign up, and they make you take a little physical, and when they have a questionnaire and everything. So you get like approved to do it, and then finally I get into the little, like they have these chairs you sit in, and they have all these like nurses or whatever, and I don't know, fat arms, or you see my arms? And I've always had problems because I've given blood before, like blood donations. And I know plasma is different than blood, but I'm just talking about, I've given blood before for donating blood, blood drives, something like that. And even in just for medical things, when they take your blood, they need to take a blood sample. And I've always had a hard time. The nurse, the phlebotomist, whatever you call them, they've always had a hard time drawing blood and finding the vein. I guess I've had it described as I have rolling veins. That's been the description a couple of times. And but they usually do eventually find the vein, and they're able to get their little, either a sample, their little, if it's like for a medical checkup or whatever. Or if you're giving blood, they take a pint or whatever there is. So yeah, I went to this plasma place just to try it out and check it out. And I should have known. I was like, no, these are professionals. They'll find the vein. Because I knew I had a history of them, of that being really hard to find a good vein or whatever. So I went there, and they had this one gal just having a hard time, and she tried both arms. She just could not find a vein, and they're poking me. So then she went and got this other gal came, and I guess she was a little bit more experienced or something, and even she couldn't find a vein. So she went ahead and just like logged me into the system or whatever. And she stopped poking me, because they did draw. I mean, it did kind of draw a little bit of blood, like just from being poked, I think. And so she did the whole thing, put the little cotton swab on it, and a little Band-Aid on it. And then she just goes, "Yeah, you come back. You can try again next time." She goes, "But I'm going to put you in since you were here," because I was there for like 4 hours all together with the whole check-in thing. And she goes, I don't know, the way she worded, I forgot what she said, but it was kind of like a wink and a nod, like, "Okay, we got you." And they, because what they do is they gave you a card, like a little debit card. And she goes, "We got you covered, don't worry, and come back, try again next week or whatever." And so lo and behold, on that debit card, they put on like $100 on it. I went and treated myself to a few lunches after. I think I used that for my next few lunches at work, or like In-N-Out or wherever. You know how I go and I eat my shit. And I never went back because I was like, nah, I just, I'm just not a good person, a good candidate for that, because I have rolling veins, and even the top-notch nurse there couldn't find it. So anyhow, that's my little experience with the plasma thing there, Robert. Apparently you have good veins. You have good veins, my man. Let's see who else we got here. We got Sandy Foltz is back. Sandy, I did say hello earlier, just so you don't email me and keep saying that I never say hi or never acknowledge you or whatever. Mad Mac 9's here. Mad Mac, Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much. Good thing. Good to see you. I started reading Robert's got another post that says, "Good thing I had my blood pressure checked before watching this tragedy unfold." Yeah, these videos aren't. They're not for the what is it? I don't know, whatever that expression is, but yeah, it's could be upsetting. So watch at your own risk. Luck Dragon's here. Hey, Luck Dragon, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Luck Dragon says I was right. So no way. It is a global cabal. I guess I watched too many Stanley Kubrick movies. I guess whatever. Mr. Sarcasm. Let's see. DPD's here. Good to see DPD. I don't know if DPD is still up in Minnesota. I suppose even if you're back home, stay warm. We're having spring-like conditions out here. You guys are having like, Arctic blasts. And it's not a blast to have an Arctic blast. Barbara Nicholas is here. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Barbara says, I hit the thumbs ups. Yeah, hit those thumbs ups. We got 28 watching, only 24 thumbs ups. We are acting a bit like skeevy, despicable Republicans right now with that deficit. So let's get back to being more like good Democrats and get to a balanced budget. I'm not even going to read that one, Lug Dragon. I just don't think I'm just not comfortable with that, putting in these victims' names in a pun, basically. MJ Daniel from Washington State, good to see you. Says FAFO. I'm not sure. Maybe that was about the dude who was getting his ass kicked by a bunch of high schoolers. I mean, just that alone is pretty humiliating. And most of them were high school girls, I think, were kicking his ass. That guy in the intro, that guy, and he deserved every bit of it. He kind of reminded me of the Sean Penn character in the Leo DiCaprio movie. Was it One Battle After Another? I highly recommend the movie, guys. I don't know why you guys aren't watching it. How many times have we got to recommend it? It should win Best Picture. I don't know if it's going to, but it should this year. They haven't had the Oscars yet, right? They just had the Grammys. I don't think they had the Oscars yet. But that's probably Best Picture of 2025. One Battle After Another. I know I was a little critical of it when I first saw it, but then I started thinking about it more and more, and it really is good. It really kind of, I think, more and more as we are learning more and more about this cabal. We are learning more and more about all the people on this Epstein list and the rich and powerful and what they were doing. It makes one battle after the other seem more and more like a fucking documentary than a fucking just a fictionalized movie. Josh says I might have to rewind and watch those kids kick his ass again. Yeah. Go for it. Watch it over and over again, and hit the share button while you're at it. Lug Dragon says I searched it on YouTube and watched it 10 times this morning. From now on, just watch it on the Trucker John show right here. You don't need to be searching YouTube. All you need to do is search Trucker John. Trucker John has all the good shit. DPD says, I must say I have never been more proud of our youth. They opened up a big old can of whoop ass. Just think if that, well, yeah, no, never mind. I was just thinking of some of the guys we had in high school that were already like men physically, maybe not, certainly not emotionally, but physically were already fucking big fucking dudes. And if that guy had pissed them off, he wouldn't have been able to walk back to his truck. Let's just put it that way. He wouldn't have been able to drive. He would have been probably needed to be hospitalized. I'm just hearing stuff. I think scrapes went by. Anyhow, Joshies, I should call them future voters, not kids. Well, they are kids though. They're high schoolers. High schoolers are still kids. Aaron West is here. Oh, there's Aaron. Good to see you. He says, oh hell, I see the damn blue cube next to my name. What's that mean? The blue cube. I don't know what that means, the blue cube. Is that a bad thing? The blue cube? I'm lost. Anyhow, Aaron, thanks for being here and congratulations. I don't think I've been on since I saw on Liberal Dan you announced that you just got engaged. You just got proposed to. So congratulations, Aaron, on that proposal, your engagement. Very happy for you. Look, Dragon says after you've what all day? And Jasmine Crockett in El Paso and Donald Trump killing all their farm help. I'm pretty sure the future of Texas looks like those kids beating that asshole up. Well, the thing is he got out of his truck and went and grabbed one of the girls' signs, one of their protest signs. Like he's a big bad dude and he's going to take away their sign. Now we saw what Texas Paul did. That's the same thing. A few weeks ago, this dude took away these old people. We went from one extreme to the other, or not extreme, but from old people. They were protesting, and this dude goes up and grabs this lady's sign, and I think he started hitting her with the sign. And Texas Paul saw that and said, "Nope, not on my watch." And he ran up and he fucking clocked the dude. And so same thing now here with these high schoolers. You see this dude gets out of his truck and grabs this girl's sign, and then the rest of the kids are like, "Nope." And the girl was the first one, I think, that was you saw really it was like going at it with him, Watch out for high schoolers; they're full of energy. So if you're a middle-aged dude in a truck and you think you're gonna go grab signs and be disruptive and be an asshole, just remember they've got a hell of a lot more energy than you do. Just getting out of your truck and walking over to get the sign, you might already be winded. And you're going up against high schoolers. Are you crazy? They've got energy that will last all fucking day. And you're already winded probably by the time you went and grabbed the sign. Oh, you were talking about Uvalde? What? Okay, so yeah, Uvalde was horrible. That was a horrible thing. And Greg Abbott's response to that was deplorable. And why the hell Texans would ever vote for that motherfucker ever again for anything is beyond me. But then again, they're the same ones that vote for Trump even after we knew Trump. In 2024 election, we already knew that Trump was a fucking rapist. We already knew he was a convicted 30-time convicted fucking felon, a fraud. We already knew all that shit. And yet these 77 million motherfuckers voted for him. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Stupido. Apparently, Lug Dragon likes my my song, so I'm glad you like it. My theme song, kind of like, I guess that's my theme song. DPD says I have caught a cold. Other than that, Aaron, I'm good. So yeah, don't. Sandy says send that weather out this way. I know. I shouldn't be complaining about our spring-like weather. I'm looking. I'm just looking big picture. I'm looking at global warming, and it's just not right to have this kind of fucking weather in February. It's just not right. Even in Nevada, we're way above average temperatures. I know everyone thinks it's the desert and it's always hot, but it's not true. At least it's not supposed to be. MJ Daniels says, I want to see MSNBC having a panel with experts like Malcolm Nance talking about the national security implications of Epstein, but I guess expecting journalism is too much. Yeah, that might be a bit much to ask, yeah, that they would actually do some real journalism. For our journalists to actually do some real journalism. Josh C says, I forget where I heard her premiere in London sold only one ticket. Yeah, there were places all over that didn't sell any tickets. And then other places, yeah, 1, 2. They claimed it made $7 million over the opening weekend. And I believe those numbers are all, blown up, propped up. They're propped up by people, big donors or big, organizations that just go and would buy a bunch of tickets online and with no intention of going. I wonder how many theaters showed that showed, how you can go online and you can order tickets and you can see the seats available. I wonder how many of those that did actually have look like a good amount of people in them. I wonder how many were actually in the seats, actually showed up to the thing. I bet you a lot of those ticket sales were just GOP, super PACs or whatever, just buying up tickets online just to goose up the sales a little bit, a little bit. Barbara Nicholas says, yeah, Sandy, 21 degrees. We think it's a heat wave. MJ Daniel makes me feel that there is something much worse than ICE or Epstein we not know about yet. What does make you feel that way? I don't know. Lug Dragon says, I got a mysterious Amazon delivery that I didn't remember. Now, is this sarcasm? Because I don't know. Is this a true story? Are you being truthful? Or is this your attempt at sarcasm? I don't know, Lug Dragon. You've got me so, confused. I'm not even sure if I should read it now. But yeah, Lug Dragon claims to have opened a delivery, a letter or whatever, and getting 2 Melania tickets. I don't know. I don't even know if I should read Lug Dragon's shit anymore because he says then he'll go, it's a sarcasm and you can't pick up sarcasm. And so I don't know, man. If that's the way you're going to play it, then maybe I just won't read your shit anymore, because I don't know what's when you're being truthful or you're just being sarcastic. DPD going all caps on us says, remember these names, Jesus Ochoa and Raimundo Gutierrez? They were responsible for Alex Preddy murder. Oh, and they veterans in their field. So they were already trained. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was claims like these guys are only getting 47 days. And that's true, I guess, of all the new recruits. But there are some of these guys that are doing this shit. Like you say, they've got 7, 8, 9, 10 years experience. Like even Jonathan Ross, the murderer of Renee Good, I think has 7 or 8 years in with. I guess he was ICE. I guess. Yeah. So the 47-day thing. Yeah, they should be getting more training, but I don't know if it would even matter, because we got these guys have been working for 7, 8, 9 years, and just as bad as any of them, just as awful and bad and horrible. It's really brought out. Maybe they were decent agents before, but this whole Trump, Stephen Miller, Christine Nome, Bovino, all their attitudes, all their really giving them permission, green lighting them to just be as vile and awful and homicidal as they want, and seeing no repercussions, seeing nothing happening to them. They've been given an absolute green light. So even these guys that were been around for 7 or 8 years in the department and have maybe never did anything before, or at least that we know of, now all of a sudden they're like, all right, finally, you took off the leash. Thank you. Now I can run free and be my free self, my real self, my real raging, homicidal, fucking mad self. That's what they've done. They've unleashed these fucking mad dogs. That's what they've done. Hey, Stephanie B's here. Hey, Steph, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Steph says, does anyone know a quick place I can go to find where Trump threatened to kill people? Just look in the files, man. I don't know. I've been seeing stories about where they claim that Trump threatened underage girls that to not say anything, or they would kill them, like they killed some other girl or whatever. Yeah, but that's good. We should get a little more. It should be a little more pinpointed down than that. So yeah, let's start getting the exact spots so we can start posting those. Sandy Foltz, I did send a $2 sticker early. Thank you, Sandy. I like I say, if you do it really super early like that, it will disappear from my view. So if I hadn't mentioned it, that's why. So yippee to Sandy. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. I mean, I could look at it right now, but let me. I'm afraid I'll lose my place in the chat here. But thank you, Sandy Foltz, and I am acknowledging it. All right, everyone, you've all heard me, right? You all heard me acknowledge Sandy Foltz $2 super sticker. So thank you, Sandy, and everyone. You have. You guys are my witnesses, because Sandy seems to think that I never, acknowledge those, but I do. Every single time I do. Eventually, maybe not right then. It might take me a while, but eventually I will acknowledge if someone gives me a super chat or a super sticker or whatever, or even truckiversaries and stuff. Paul Burrows said, my boss used to say, if you ain't bleeding, you ain't working. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Like you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot of manly stuff, Paul. You're out there, like in the wilds of Idaho, out in the back country, So I could see how that might be true. I don't know. DPD says Dr. Peter Addis is a CBS News contributor who has been implicated in the Epstein files, and CBS hired him anyway. So the communist broadcast system is perfectly fine with pedophiles. Well, we know that CBS is totally fucked up now. They have what's her name, Barry Weiss. And she's basically, you might as well just call her a maggot. Got a maggot running CBS, so I guess it's not such a huge surprise. Robert Perez says, "Yeah, rolling veins is a problem." Yeah, I have apparently rolling veins, so I gave my one attempt there at the plasma place. I never was able to contribute the plasma, but they did give me the $100 anyway because I was there for like 4 hours. I mean, altogether, that's from the time I checked in and I had to wait. I filled out all those forms, then I had to wait to go see. They had like a doctor on staff there, and you do like a little physical. And then I had to fill out, a big questionnaire, kind of like your medical history and everything. And then you have to go through this other little interview thing. If you're a first timer, I guess Robert, you probably know. And then so all that took, I think, 3 hours probably. And then finally they said, okay, you can go. And they let me go to the front of the line because there was a big line of people. And they let me go to the front. They said, you'll be next. And I said, okay. So then I waited another, 20 minutes before they finally put me in a chair and started up on it. And then, so by the time, I left the place, it was close to 4 hours of being there. So she gave me the $100, even though they didn't get any plasma out of me. And I've never gone back since. But now I'm on their email list or whatever. So they were always like sending me emails and shit. But I don't think I'll ever go back because I have rolling veins, and it's just a waste of my time. It's a waste of their time, and I don't think they're going to give me the $100. If they give me the $100 every time, even though even if they don't get anything, but I have a feeling that was a one-time thing that she was just feeling bad because I had been there all day, or 4 hours, and so she wink and nodded and put me in the system as though I had actually given the plasma. I don't think that's going to happen again. So there's no sense in me going back if it's not going to work, But it was nice to get $100, and like I said, that paid for my next, 4 or 5 lunches. I think, every little bit helps, man. Stephen B says, I've had rolling, diving, bobbing, and weaving veins all my life. It really sucks. They have to get that machine in that shows your veins to get one from me. Wow. Well, I guess mine aren't that bad. Like I said, I've donated blood for blood drives, like at work, with the post office. I used to do a blood drive every year. So I used to do that. I'm trying to think of other places, and of course, then I said, like, if they ever had to do like blood work on me or whatever, or even drug tests. Sometimes some of the random drug tests, they would take blood. Not all the time. So it was different for the random drug test. Sometimes they would just cut some of your hair and do it that way. They would always take urine. They would always take a urine specimen, but sometimes they would just do the thing where they cut some of your hair off. And then sometimes, well, I think, I think they always took a blood sample too, though. Now I think about it, but they always were eventually able to get the blood samples, or even for the blood drive, I could get my little plane of blood. But the plasma place, like maybe plasma veins are different veins. I don't know, but they could not do it. But they did not wheel out a machine to find it. They just cut me loose. They said, "Here's your $100. Go with God." Faint of heart. Thank you, DPD. I guess I'm probably 20 minutes. I think I was about 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I was trying to come up with trying to remember that turn of phrase. So I guess I'm probably about 20 minutes behind you. I'm about 20 minutes behind. Where's Nick Rich when we need him? Where's Nick Rich? Sandy Folds, what's the scoop on your live stream? You've been skipping days. Are you going back on your normal days? I don't know, Sandy. It's still up in the air. Like, I don't know. I'm going to try to go back to my normal days. I think I'm wiggling the camera. But work comes first right now. So we'll just see. It's all going to be up in the air. I'll try to do as many as I can because I enjoy coming on here. I enjoy talking with you guys. I enjoy making my intros, and then and I love being able to come on here and just talk shit about Trump and maggots and the GOP party of the protecting the pedophiles. I love talking shit about these motherfuckers. So, and I miss it. This is my outlet. This is my outlet where I can just get on here and just talk shit about MAGA and Trump and ICE. And I miss not being able to do that so much if I'm not on here. So I'll try to get on here as much as I can, but there just might be some days where I just can't. Like I did today because I didn't go to work last night, so I got a good night's sleep and I was able to get up and I and so it wasn't a problem. But when it's a problem is if I get home at 3 or 4 in the morning and then try to do a show like at 9 in the morning or even 11 could be a little rough. So. And then try to do that and then go back to work again and everything. So I'll try to do as many as I can, but it just is what it is. I still got to work until I can get like 100,000 subscribers and make this channel a channel that I could actually. So anyhow. So that's the answer to that. Yeah. Now tomorrow is Thursday, and I was planning on doing a show tomorrow. I think I'll still do. Let's see. Tomorrow's Thursday, so I'll probably do an early show. I might just do an early show, like a 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock show, my time, Pacific time tomorrow, because I have to be at. Speaking of work, I have to be at work tomorrow at 1 p.m. for my my yearly. This is my first year. I'm coming up on my first kind of anniversary of working there. And every year, every driver has to do a safety class, like a refresher safety course, and then also you have to go and renew your permit and all that shit. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. So but I think I'll do an early show tomorrow, and then I think I messed my hair up. I don't know. And then go to work. So I got to make sure that I'm done early enough to get on my 2-hour bus ride to work. DPD, I believe the Oscars are next month, TJ. All right, so go see and one battle after another. Leonardo DiCaprio was the I guess you would say the main lead, but it's really got like a big cast ensemble type of thing. Sean Penn is in it. Well, those might be the two biggest names. What's his face is in it? What's that guy's name? I love the guy. It's like a Mexican guy. What the fuck is his name? What the fuck is? He's the guy in Usual Suspects. He's like, I almost said what he said. It was like, what the fuck? The way he delivered that line was like, what the fuck? I can't do it. Well, that guy's in it, and he's great. He's always great in everything he does. And I can't remember his fucking name. Anyhow, great cast, great movie. Robert Nicholas says no, Melania has to win the Oscar. Just kidding. Aaron West says it means YouTube is making changes again. Where are you seeing the blue cube? I don't see a blue cube. Nick, I'm not seeing any blue cubes either on my iPhone or my iPad. Maybe on your, if you're on a computer or something, maybe you see it on there. I don't know. DPD, and I saw this earlier too. It says DPD says that Steve Tisch, the owner of the New York Giants, has also been implicated in the Epstein files. Aaron West is thinking, you're very welcome, and you're congratulated there on your engagement. Look, Dragon says the only woman in America who can get away with leaving their son home alone 2 times is Catherine O'Hara. Rest in peace. Yes, Catherine O'Hara passed away the other day, 71 years old. I would say that was too early, way too early. But apparently, I don't know. They said I just saw where it said she died of a sudden illness or something like that. But then I also saw an article where I guess about 20 years ago she had been diagnosed or had been discovered that she, I guess, had been born with I don't know, you call it congenital, some sort of I don't know what you call it, but a health problem that she'd been born with, and it was something about her heart was like backwards or something like that, or was not in the exact spot it should have been, and she didn't know that until about 20 years ago. Now I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but rest in peace, Catherine O'Hara. Nola Carnes says my sister in Portland, Oregon showed me ICE went crazy on them, shooting tear gas and nerve gas at them from rooftops. She made it home in her frog outfit. You know, I didn't really capture too much of that in my intro, but I saw that. I guess it was yesterday or day before. It looked like a freaking war zone. Well, when you see all the smoke, and it's kind of nighttime, and it's in the lights and everything, and it is really dramatic. But ICE decided to step things up, I guess, over there. Paul Burrell's just got my echocardiogram results. I have no heart. Well, that's not good. Look, Dragon, the future of Texas is blue. Just ask the children. And we've got a chance. We've got a chance to maybe. Is it Ted Cruz? What seat are Tellerico and Jasmine Crockett going to be going after? Because whoever wins between them is going to go after. It might be the other one. Is it Cornyn? But we got a chance to at least get one of the Senate seats. And we just saw, the other day, that special election, right? Democrat won, and it was a big swing from a district that Trump had won by 30 points or whatever, and then this guy won by 17. So we are seeing some hope coming out of Texas. And I'm old enough to remember when Texas was blue. Places like Texas used to be blue. Places like fucking Ohio used to be blue. Places like West Virginia used to be blue. What happened to you motherfuckers? I guess it's going to take your children and your grandchildren and maybe your great-great-great-grandchildren to fucking wise up and turn those states back to blue where they belong. But somehow, you fucking boomers and you, what comes after boomers? Is it Gen X or whatever? I'm a boomer, so I can talk shit about boomers. I'm allowed. But the boomers and the ones that came right after the boomers, you really fucking dropped the ball, motherfuckers. You took good, reliable blue states and you turn them into ruby red states, and you guys are assholes. That's all I got to say about that. So Stephanie B, I guess, is talking about Tish, the Giants owner, says, then they confiscated 2 of his golf courses. I think it's Tish. In golf courses in an office building. Golf courses, well, yeah, in New York to pay back all of the lawsuits that he lost. Rachel Maddow was the only one brave enough to report it. And an office. Okay, yeah. 2 golf courses and an office. Wow. Sandy Falls, if you want snow, TJ, I can send you. I'm not saying I want snow. What I'm saying is that we've been running 10 to 15 degrees above average temperatures every single day, or almost every single day. We've had a few days where it wasn't, but nearly every day this entire winter. I'm not saying I want snow. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is global warming. We are running 10 to 15 degrees above average almost every single day. And that's not, I don't think that's good. And our Colorado River is drying up. Lake Mead is drying up. And what we usually have a big snowpack in the mountains, in the mountaintops. And so that water will melt during the summer. We're not going to have that. Okay, I'm not talking about, I want snow. It's about global warming and how dangerous it is, and how unreported it seems to be, and how people don't seem to really give a shit. Well, they're going to give a shit when they got no water. Okay? Robert Nicholas, Trucker John, it's called climate change, not global warming. Whatever. Paul Burrell, the climate changes 4 times a year. See, this is what I'm talking about. Even liberals don't seem to give a shit. Even liberals aren't taking this fucking thing serious. Global warming might end up being what kills us before fucking Trump can kill us, before ICE can kill us. And you guys want to make jokes about it. Okay, whatever. I guess we'll just laugh all the way to our fucking graves. I did not see this. DPD says, did anyone see the man in Oregon that was shooting at drivers on the highway, demanding to know if they were loyal to America? Thank God no one was hurt or killed. Oh, the Civil War has begun. I did not see that. That is scary as hell. Why is that not a bigger story? Wow, that's the first time hearing of it. Hey, Damon Dog, the big dog is here. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Damon Dog says, did y'all already discuss the baby leg and foot with the 2 chickens on a cutting board photo from the Epstein files? No. No, Damon. I didn't even. This is the first time I'm hearing that. So wait, there's a real baby leg and a foot, like a real little human foot. No, and if I haven't, why haven't I? That should be a huge all over the entire all media. Hey, Elizabeth Martinez is here. Buenas tardes. John, hello to all. Buenas tardes to you as well. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. No, I did not see that or hear that, Damon Dog. If that's true, that's pretty gross and disgusting, and I have to find out more about that. So to be, it's 3 million documents to rifle through. I don't have that kind of time. I don't know how to do that stuff. Yeah, I know. We got to find out more about where we can pinpoint these things and be able to, go right to them. Yeah, Mad Max like me said, "What the fuck? Are you serious? That's insane, bro." We're talking about what Damon Dog was talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen that. We have to look that up because that's sounds like murder to me. Murder of a baby murder. Yeah, Damon Dog says it's crazy. I saw the photo this morning. They tried to black out part of it, but it's definitely a foot and a leg the size of chickens. It had to be a kid. I mean, it just gets more and more grisly the more and more we find out. Mr. Spock is here. Live long and prosper. Believe me, trust me, it's perfectly. I'm doing it perfectly. Petrozzi says Barry Weiss says his wife was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and she's in the list. Yeah, so many connections, DPD says a 67-year-old man in Philadelphia wrote a letter criticizing DHS for their treatment of a Afghanistan asylum seeker. DHS then contacts Google to obtain an administrative subpoena to gather his data. And I don't know what TBC means. Taking care of business, baby. Taking care of business. No. Paul Burrow says, peace out. Got to go back to working on my cat's pin. Oh, there you go. All right, Paul. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chiming in. Hey, Walter Makarovich is here. Hey, Walter. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Walter says, good afternoon, Trucker John. Have you seen next year's Stadium Series NHL game in Vegas, Golden Knights at Dallas Stars in Cowboys Football Stadium in February 2027? That is only good ice I know of. I kind of saw. I did see where the Golden Knights were going to be playing, at the Cowboys Stadium, but I didn't really connect it with being, Stadium Series, not it all, but yeah. Yeah, Mad Max says those 6 fucks. Oh my gosh, this is so very gruesome. That's almost the same thing I said. Me and Mad Max. I said it was gruesome. We're thinking alike here. Damon Dog says it was posted on Blue Sky. I have to look that up. So continuing with that story, DPD says 4 days later, agents came to the gentleman's home to interrogate him. Now, if you criticize the regime or the orange pedophile puts a target on your back, I hope you are listening, motherfuckers. Okay. I guess we're the motherfuckers. I don't know. Well, Luck Dragon, work is how I pay the bills, so work comes first. Christina Weibel's here, says I won't stop. I don't care about a target on my back. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. No, not Trejo. Benicio del Toro. There you go, DPD. Thank you. Benicio del Toro. He's in it, and he's great. Fantastic. Leonardo was very good. I just can't recommend it enough. So. John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad, the old driver's lounge. Barbara Nicholas says, Trucker John, it's a block instead of a wrench. Well, I saw the wrench on when Aaron posted. I was seeing a wrench. So maybe just on her screen it shows a block or something. Barbara Nicholas, I think Trucker should be a bus driver. He already spends 4 days away. I would not want to be a bus driver, please. Please. I would not want to be a fucking bus driver. I like driving the cab, guys. I was made to be a cab driver. I love driving. I love that job. I really do. I love being a cab driver. It's a great job. It's just I need to get some transpo to get to the job. Somebody just walked by talking very loudly on their phone. Williams says other countries are investigating the Epstein thing. Musk's office in France has been raided. Damon Dog says first time in decades we had 13 inches of snow here. On the plus side, I got to test the snow button on the truck. Did great. Well, there you go. I grew up in this desert, this same Mojave Desert that I'm sitting in now. Granted, it's about 180 miles to the sort of southwest of here. But same desert, same climate, same everything pretty much. And when I was a kid growing up in the 60s and the 70s, every winter we would get probably 3 or 4 snowfalls. Starting in November through December and January, sometimes in February, we would get snowfalls. Usually only 1 or 2 inches. A big one would be, maybe 3 or 4 inches. And then it seems like about every 7 or 8 years, 6 or 7 years, we might get a one of those snowfalls would be like 6 inches. And then about every 10 years or so, we would get one that would be 9 or 10 inches or 12 inches. And I'm talking about snow, in case anyone's wondering. Snow depth I'm talking about. And that was pretty much how it was from 60s, 70s, and probably into the mid 80s or something. And then things started changing. We started getting long droughts, and weather, the weather pattern, storm patterns started changing. We weren't getting as much rain. Like in the summertime, we used to have an actual really big monsoon season. We'd have monsoons. We'd have lightning storms, thunderstorms, and lightning. It was really cool. Thunderstorms and lightning, very, very frightening. I mean, the weather was much, much different when I was growing up. And now it's from the 90s, and especially it's been accelerating from the 20 teens, probably 2010 and 2012 and 20 onward. It's really it's just accelerating the long droughts, the lack of snowfall, the warmer temperatures in winter. I mean, it's just getting It's just getting worse. It's definitely changing. And when it changes like that within one's lifetime, something is wrong. Because you can talk about ice ages and little ice ages. You can talk about this, but those things take, like, even the little ice age that we had, or those were things that happened over 100 years or 300 years or something. We're seeing stuff that's radically changing within my lifetime, and even more so within the last 15 years, 20 years. I mean, this is crazy. It's not good, and maybe we're past the point of no return. I guess talking about it maybe is just a moot point at this point. Maybe we should just all just not worry about it and let the chips fall where they may. And when we die, we die. If we get burned up from the planet burning up, then so be it. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. I guess that's the attitude we're all adapting, whatever it is. DPD says to the Jensen chat, what happens if you find out that your favorite sports franchise or players were implicated in the Epstein files? Would it be enough for you to walk away for good? Maybe, probably, yeah, I guess. I don't know why you got to bring that into it. You got to piss on my Cheerios, man. David Dog says, doesn't matter who it is, DPD, if they're in the files with any hint of wrongdoing, try them and lock them up for life. DPD 5844 says Blanche. I guess that's Todd Blanche, right? Was he the assistant junior? I know, I added junior. AG, I guess. Blanche admitted on national television that there were videos of murder snuff films, basically, but there's nothing to see here, folks. What the fuck? And yet no one is calling him out. Yeah, that should be first and foremost. I mean, yeah, that you don't just brush over that, MJ Daniel says DJ thinks Buenos Tardes is a big Venezuelan gang. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, TBC, to be continued. Oh, okay. All right, then. Barbara Douglas. Damon, may I ask, what is a snow button? I'll let Damon Dog answer that. Luck Dragon says that's why we need to make this show popular and share to the world so Trucker doesn't have to work. All he has to do is pay bills. There you go. DPD says, no, TJ, I was referring to DHS, if they should tracking my movements, because you never know. Luck Dragon, we should go live, and while you're driving in the cab, I can ask obnoxious questions instead of you having to talk to passengers. No, that doesn't work. I have to drive. I have a concentrate on driving. I'm not going to be looking at your chats and stuff like that. DPD says global warming is real. It's sad no one's taking it seriously. Yeah, I guess we're just eat, drink, and be merry, and for tomorrow we all burn up and die. So. Yeah, and as Barbara Nicholas says, says he already tried that, talking about me. It does use a lot of my phone data up, and yeah. I mean, I do like doing the drive home. Like I've been hitting the live button on my drive home, and it's like, I mean, not drive home, but drive back to the yard. The yard, it's like a 20-minute or 30-minute thing. So I kind of like doing that. I just put on rock music, and we can just rock out for 20 minutes. But I'm not going to do 5-6 hours or whatever, in the cab, or even just if I did 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, and plus, I just don't feel right about it. I never really did feel completely right about doing it, because people are in the cab. They don't know that I'm live streaming. I could say, "Hey, I'm live streaming. Do you guys mind?" But then I just didn't bring it up, and I never really felt comfortable with it doing it. So I'm not going to do something that I don't feel comfortable with. For one thing, and then the other stuff is true too. The data and everything. Look, Dragon says I could ask obnoxious. Okay, they don't hear you, Luck Dragon. Okay, if I'm live streaming, they can't hear you. So and I'm not reading the chats. I'm driving. I'm looking at. I'm looking. I'm not looking at the chat. In fact, I even have the camera pointed where I can't even see the chat. I guess you're just being sarcastic, though. Nola Carn says February 16th is no King's Day. So is it? What about What about March 28th? So February 16th is another one. Cindy Foltz, how many rides did you get last week? I don't know. I don't remember. Last week was last week. I didn't get very many. I didn't get my goal or whatever. My goal is still to do 45 a week. I don't think I've ever hit. I don't think I've even ever hit the goal so far this week. Though for this week, I just went out on Monday, right? I think that's the only day I did. I don't think I worked Sunday. So I did Monday. It was a really good day. I got 15 rides, and that's because I got a really good early start. If I get a good early start, then it makes it so much easier to get 15 rides in. And by early start, I mean I was on the road, on the strip, at about, I think it was about 5 p.m., 5 or 5:30, and it worked out great. By 10 o'clock, I had 15 rides already, or even maybe even before that, 9:30, 10 o'clock, I had my 15. Was it that, or maybe it was a little bit later than that? I don't know, because then I went back to then I call it quits, and I went back, and I was able to get the bus. And since I got home, I keep calling the yard home. It's not home. I got to the yard early enough where the buses are on that bus line. It still comes at like every, I think, 20 minutes or something. Because then I think after 12:30, it just starts coming like once an hour. So if you miss it, then you got to wait like a whole fucking other hour. But Monday I got to the yard early enough where they were still doing it, like I think it's every half hour or 20 minutes or something. I was able to go catch the bus at, I think 11. It was like 11:30 or something like that. Yeah, and so I was able to get home in a decent hour. So all that shit adds up. I know you guys have your lives to live, and you can't keep up with what's going on with me, and you don't maybe understand the significance of what an hour here or a half hour there can mean to my life, and how it can really affect my life. And believe me, getting home at 2 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning is a hell of a lot better than getting home at 3:45 or 4 in the morning and then not sleep the whole next day. You know what I mean? So, anyhow, MJ Daniel says, I bet if you look into Nazi Germany in the 1930s, you will find the same bunch of degenerate sexual predators and psychopaths as this administration. Mirror images. You're probably right, MJ. You're probably right. They are mirror images. It's amazing. It's like, they've been reincarnated into this Trump administration. DPD 5844 says, what is so infuriating is that everyone should be marching in Washington to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to demand this fucking pedophile child murderer be removed from office. I mean that. I mean, what will it take? I know. And I know we always play this like whataboutism game. And it's like, I mean, Joe Biden couldn't like touch someone's hair. And like, I don't know, or they would get a still image where it looked like he was touching hair or smelling hair or whatever. They were I think they were ready to lynch that guy just for that. But now we're getting pictures. We're hearing about snuff films and and body parts and it's just like nothing. Crickets. Nilla Carr says, TJ, February 16th is President's Day. Was kidding. Well, see, how you shouldn't kid. Look, Dragon says, I don't want to sound like a jerk. Well, then don't. But I have been to Las Vegas 3 times in my life, and I have never maybe wanted to go to Las Vegas more than just to get a cab ride with you, trucker, and a steak dinner. All right, come to Vegas. When I'm on duty, you can call me. I'll pick you up. It's going to be a paying ride. I can't give rides for free. Everything's on cameras. They have cameras in those things. And we'll go get steak dinner, I guess. Go to Morton's. Barbara Nichols says, early start. People are going to other places for dinner and shows. Oh, this was a Monday. And it seems like Mondays are usually are dead. But we had two big conferences, and the HVAC conference was going on, and we had NADA, which is like the North American Dealers Association or something like that. It's car dealers, and that's going on. And I think on Monday, I bet you at least 10 of my 15 were either NADA or HVAC. So the conventions are what's keeping Vegas going right now. The conventions, because they book those way ahead of time. So if people are afraid to come here, and people are, the international travel into Vegas was down, I think, 30% in 2025. And the numbers of people coming from Canada was down like 35 or 40%. That's huge. And that's why Vegas was definitely down overall 7.5% in 2025. The tourism was down. But those are things that people can just make. They can make that decision like boom right now. But as far as these conventions are concerned, they book those out. Who knows how many years in advance, probably. So that's why those are steady. Plus, the people who book conventions and who do that, they don't really give a shit about Trump or whatever. They're not protesting ICE. So the conventions are what's keeping Vegas really from completely going down the toilet, in my humble opinion. Nola Carnes with a $5 super chat. Yippee! Thank you so much, Nola Carnes. I appreciate you. There's a thumbs up and a heart for you. Nola Carnes says, keep up the good work. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Luck Dragon says, forget about what a real president looks like. Do you want to know what the next president looks like? An astronaut. So I guess you're talking about Mark Kelly? DPD 5844 says the only difference between 1930s Germany and 2026 is that we have cell phones and the internet. Yeah, that's true. MJ Daniel, cash, gas, or ass? Mad Max says, I was watching a World War II video about the drugs they gave Nazi troops. They had meth called Privitin and then made a combo drug with meth, oxycodone, and cocaine together. They made Nazi zombies with drugs. They made Nazi fucking just fucking wired out of their minds. I've been hearing these stories too lately about that. It seems like these stories have been coming out in the last couple of years about Nazis being all, wired up and all these stimulants and stuff. It's funny how I never heard that. I'm 65 years old. I've been hearing about World War II since the 60s, almost my whole life. Lots of World War II movies, World War II documentaries, World War II books. How come I'd never heard about this until like 2 years ago? About all this meth and shit that the soldiers were on. I'm beginning to question the validity of it. Why is it just now coming out? Walter Bukarovich says, Strugger John, Winter Olympics start in Italy Friday and Super Bowl is Sunday. We must all pray in our own ways for the safety of all people involved. Yeah, and that's a concern no matter what. We've seen terrorist actions. And those of us old enough remember, we remember the 72 Olympics. We remember, all this type of things. So yeah, always be concerned about their safety. Sonny Folt says, what team do you want to win the Super Bowl, New England or Seahawks? I don't like either team. I know I've gone back and forth of trying to, I guess, justify who I might root for. I don't really care. I almost don't even feel like watching the game. The only reason I want to watch the game is because I am a football fan. I've watched, I watch every week. I watch football. And now we're here. This is the biggest game of the year. This is what it all leads to. This is what everyone's trying to get to. All the teams, and now here we are. The two that made it. So I guess I'll watch it just because of that. But I don't like either team. I really kind of hate both teams. So I'll just watch it and get it over with. DVD, did you follow up on your list? Did you check DoorDash? I did check it, and I actually already had that about getting the discount, but I hadn't activated it. So it's a good thing you told me because it was on there, Like, because I have DoorDash and I have Lyft. I have both those apps. So I went on the Lyft app, and there it was, just sitting there. Wait, I guess I had to click a button or something. I had to click on it, but it was just sitting there saying, "Hey, you get 15% discount." You know, as a because I have the DoorDash Pass. Is what I think that's what it is. When you get that DoorDash Pass, then you get 15% off on Lyft, and so it was already on there and everything, but I just hadn't clicked it, so I went ahead and clicked it. And I still, when I take Uber or Lyft, or if I want to take a ride share, I always check both apps just to see which one might have the better price. And here in Las Vegas, because I know I used to do this because I was a truck driver, guys. Remember, I've been all over the country, and I've taken Lyft and Uber all over the country, like different towns and cities. Okay, so I have that perspective. I have a continental U.S. perspective. You know, I've taken Uber from Salt Lake City or Portland or I don't know, Dallas, you name it. I mean, just about anywhere across the country that I've been, I've taken rideshare just to get out of the truck stop and go see a movie if I had downtime, or go shopping if I had the time. You know, because sometimes you have layovers, sometimes you have some time to kill. So I've taken rideshare in all these different places across the country, and it does seem that Lyft was usually cheaper, considerably enough for so much so that I would take Lyft over Uber because it was so much cheaper. But in Vegas, for some reason, it seems like Uber is almost always cheaper, even without these discount plans and stuff. Uber has always been, I would say, 95% of the time they're cheaper. So that's why I usually use Uber, because they're always cheaper, and sometimes it's only $1 or $2 difference. But sometimes it could be like $10 difference. It could be $8, $9, $10 cheaper for Uber in Vegas. And so I guess this is something kind of unique to Vegas, because like I said, I've been using rideshare for what, since they were around 10, 15 years, or however long it's been now. I was one of the early adapters of it, and using it, and I thought it was great because so many times I would be at a truck stop, and a lot of times truck stops are like, they're out of town. They're like a few miles out, and there's nothing around, and you could just be stuck with the truck stop. And sometimes you have layovers. Sometimes you could be laid over in a town for I've been up to a week, sometimes 2 weeks, but that's the extreme. But sometimes you could be laid over for 2 or 3 days, and you're at this shitty truck stop that's miles away from anything, out on the edge of town. So it was really great to have rideshare pop up, and I could Uber into town if I wanted to go see a movie because I'm sitting at the fucking truck stop. It's a shithole, right? So I could dial up Uber or Lyft and go see a movie, or I could go, if I wanted to do a little shopping, I could go to grocery store, or I could go to a mall, you know. And so it was a great thing, because when you're in an 18-wheeler, it's pretty hard to tool around town and go to the mall or whatever, you know. I mean, sometimes there are places where you can park, but in town or whatever. But for the most part, once you're in a truck stop, you've got your parking spot, and say you're going to be there for a day or 2 or 3. You like to just keep your spot, because that's where you're going to be. That's where your showers are, and everything else is right there. Unless you get a hotel. Sometimes there are a nice hotel, or a hotel nearby, or sometimes right next to the truck stop, and you might get a hotel just to get out of the truck for a little bit. But the thing is, the ride. So I've been doing rideshare ever since it came out, and so I know all about rideshare, and I know all about Lyft and Uber and prices. And like I said, it seemed like Lyft was usually cheaper, but in Vegas, for whatever reason, usually Uber's usually cheaper. And like I said, sometimes it could be not just $1 or $2, but sometimes $7, $8, $9, $10, which is weird. I don't know, to have that disparity. Usually they're pretty close, but sometimes it's not. But anyhow, yeah, I did check it, and even with the discounts, Uber is still usually cheaper. Because it shows the discount. Since I have the that activated, it'll show the price crossed out, and then it'll show what your price is with your new discount. MJ Daniel, the Vegas sports betting will win the Super Bowl. Mad Max says my convention in Vegas is in the third week of March, called ICS, International Security Conference. Still haven't decided to go myself and send one of our salespeople. Is that the one that they have at the Venetian? At the Venetian, I guess they call it convention center or something, because a lot of the hotels have their own little kind of convention areas. I know the Venetian usually holds one. It has to do with, I think, security or law enforcement and stuff like that. A lot of like weapons and devices like surveillance and stuff. I don't know if that's the same one that you're going to. But if you come out, Mad Mac, we should probably go get a cup of coffee. If you come out, I know it's hard to coordinate those things. You're busy, I'm busy, we're all busy. But if you do come out, we should probably, I don't know, get a cup of coffee or something. Take a photo, could post it on the show here. Sunny Folds, I'm going for New England. Okay. Like I said, I'm really not a fan of either team. So. Mad Max says the Nazi zombies would stay up for 3 days straight and do whatever they were told to do without fear or morality. The first Orange regime had a candy store of free drugs in the White House too. Yeah, remember, was it Dr. Feelgood? What was that guy's name? Randy or something like that. And then he went to Texas and became I think a U.S. Congress person, a U.S. rep. I think he's still in there. I think he's still in office. Yeah, was it Mr. Feelgood or Dr. Feelgood? Dr. Feelgood. Handing them out, walking up down the aisle of Air Force One and handing out uppers and downers and all arounders. Yeah. That's what we voted for, folks. You 77 million that voted for him, fuck you, you stupid fucks. So don't come crying to me, because now we've got this fucking pedophile fucking murderer in the White House. You 77 million, don't come crying to me about it. Damon Dog, the big dog, says, if ICE goes to Italy for the Winter Olympics, will they have to change their name to Gelato? I don't know, but I was just thinking that yesterday again. Like, why the fuck is ICE even allowed to go? I mean, they have no jurisdiction, right? Jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction anywhere, I would think, other than within the United States territories or whatever. I don't even get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just one of those things, like, it does not compute. Why the fuck is ICE going to the Winter Olympics? That makes absolutely no sense. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Mi no comprende. No comprende. DPD says back home in Ohio, the Nazi Gestapo have plans to deploy them to Springfield, Ohio. I read that over 1,500 people showed up and showed out to protest. I know what I have to do when I get back home. Springfield is probably what the bluest areas of Ohio. I don't know. Maybe Columbus. That's a kind of Columbus is sort of like a college town, I guess. MJ Daniel, the Patriots owner Kraft has donated millions to JDTs. Yeah, and someone was bringing that up last time. I think it might have been Barbara about how the owner of the Seahawks, is it Judy or Julie? Whatever the name is, I forget, whatever. But the owner of the Seahawks is like I guess a good Democrat who donates to good Democratic causes, liberal causes. And then you have Robert Kraft, who is a big, Donald Trump supporter and donated all that stuff. So just that alone, I should be rooting for the Seahawks, and you're right. I mean, you're right. But I just think I'm just not going to root for either team. I just still hate both teams, and not because of the owners. I mean, I guess I could say I hate Robert Kraft, and I guess what's her face, the Seahawks lady. She's fine. She seems to be a good person, so I'm glad she's a good person. So in the overall scheme of things, if I had to choose, I would rather that the Seahawks win just because of that. But I'm not really rooting for either team because you go through a whole season as rivals, divisional rivals. It's hard to then root for them, even though some people will argue that if you're a Rams fan, you should be rooting for the Seahawks because they're representing your division that your team is in, and that's fine, but still, I don't really care. I don't care about either team. I'm just going to watch the game. If it's a good game, it's a good game. Um, you know. Danny Pomeroy is here. Danny says that Hitler's doctors also developed antabuse and made his front line take that drug so they couldn't drink alcohol. I guess they couldn't have a bunch of drunk German soldiers, kind of like maybe that's what Putin needs to give his soldiers, because I've heard story after story where they're just drunk all the time. TBD. What about AARP, TJ? They can help save. Yeah, whatever. I'm not really into coupon clipping and all that kind of stuff. Nola Carnes, go Hawks. Mr. Spock, the community rider I use costs $16. Return to go to the grocery store. Look, Dragon, I have never taken an Uber. Only cabs. I'm way old. I'm 65. It's not like I'm a spring chicken. I've been using Uber since it came out. I don't see what age has to do with it. Barbara Nicholas Strugger, come on. We know those, I guess, lot lizards kept you busy. Regardless, you got to take a break from the lot lizards too, and go see a movie every now and then. DVD says, and TJ, the paperwork you have for Snap might be easier to navigate if you did it online. I did it online. It's just a suggestion. Get all the help you can. I did fill it out online. Bad Man says, I hope they lose two dirty cheaters. Deflategate. Yeah, I hate Deflategate, and I also hate. Deflategate to me is not. I don't really care about that because I don't really. I don't know. Maybe it did give Brady some advantage because there were some people were showing statistics about it and everything. But my thing is Spygate, and that's even worse. And they should have been immediately, forfeited that win. But they're not going to do that. DBD says, don't forget about the ones who chose to sit home. We're talking about voting and voters again. Who chose to sit home. And from my understanding, the Italian government, I think we're talking about voting, the Italian government made it clear the Nazi Gestapo were not welcome. Yeah, well, apparently, I've been hearing these numbers too. Apparently, there are about 240 or 250 million adults, I guess, that are of legal voting age. 240 million. So we had about, what did we have? About close to 150 million. We had 77 and 75. Carry the one, 152 million people that voted. Oh, that's just for those two parties, and then plus the independents. Yeah, I don't know, what do we have? 160 million, 170 million people vote. So then if we had 240 million, so there's probably about another 70. I've heard people say 80 million, but people that didn't vote. I'm just going to say 70. So we had another 70 million that didn't vote. It's almost evenly, like we had 77 that voted for Trump, 75 million voted for Kamala Harris, and probably about another 70 to 80 million, let's say, that didn't vote at all. So fuck you guys too. Fuck you non-voters, as well as you Trump voters. Bad man. The ice holes are sent with the Olympic team as security detail to protect the athletes and coaches. What a bunch of horse shit. Yeah, it's just weird though. Like, if you're gonna send, why would you send ice? Why wouldn't you just send? I don't know. Why would they just hire private security or something? I don't know. I don't get it. Mad Max says, yeah, I heard a Rams fan say that on news that Seahawks represent the toughest division in the NFL, and he went on to say that Seattle is loving caring city, so he and his buddies are going to Seahawks. Well, good for them. Good for them. MJ Daniel, hard to root for a rival, or root for a rival. I'm not sure that's how you spell root in that context. Anyhow, I still boo the Raiders and Chiefs, and Seattle is not even in the FC anymore. Luck Dragon. Now, Luck Dragon might say he's being sarcastic here. I don't know. But he says, breaking news, Bill Belichick has files and Gates and a very young girlfriend. Okay, so. Bad Mac, I have never used Uber or Lyft. I either rent a car or take a cab. Okay. I started using Uber, and I immediately loved it. Because calling a cab out to where I got to get on the phone. I got to get the phone number. I would have to call the cab out to the truck stop and then go to my destination. And I don't even know how much it would cost, but because to tell the truth, I guess I never looked at what the cost would be, but just based on my own experience, when I saw how much it was on Uber, it's very easy. You just download an app, you go on the app, you just put your destination, it automatically tells you right there what the price is going to be. It's not like in a cab where it's a meter. And here I am, a cab driver, and I sound like I'm putting down cab drivers, but I love the cab thing. But you can just go, oh, it's gonna be $10.80 or whatever, or it's $20, whatever. And then you can decide, do I want to go? Do I want to go? Do I not? Do not want to pay that? But anyhow, so you just do it. They come, they pick you up, they take you. I immediately loved Uber from the start, and I was never, I had never really ridden in cabs before. I maybe maybe 2 or 3 times in my life had ever even taken a cab, and I think mainly that's because I live out in the desert. I live in a rural area. You don't take cabs. I mean, some people do. I guess the town drunks did or something, which is good. I mean, that they would go get drunk and take cabs or whatever. But I mean, it's not like in the big city where cabs are more prevalent and people take cabs. But I always lived out in rural desert communities, and so like I said, I maybe took a cab 2 or 3 times in my life. I'm only just guessing. I can't even really remember if I But anyhow, but that's why when the Uber app came out, it was just like really cool. It was easy. It was inexpensive, very simple to use, very convenient to use, and so. Again, if you prefer cabs, that's fine. I just don't really understand like there seems to be like a hesitance to use it or something, especially now. It's after all these years, they really have ironed out all the bugs, I think, to it. But if you're in Vegas, take a cab. Cab's better in Las Vegas, anyhow, because I drive cab. So, Damon Dog, I rented a car in the Bahamas just to see what it's like to drive on the wrong side of the road. Oh wow, that's funny. DPD says, I know, TJ, I'm all up in your business, but AARP really does help. My husband and I can't wait to turn 50 so we can obtain our AARP card. Isn't that sad? And I don't know, because they've been sending me, they used to send stuff in the mail, and where if you sign up, you get a free cooler chest or a free, I don't know. They look like cool little things, to entice you to do it. I guess they still do that. So there's that, something like that. You look forward to. If J. Daniel says, yep, all the people that voted for Biden and Obama, but for neither qualified women, how is that working out? Yeah. You would think that it would have just carried over. I didn't know that there were so many misogynistic so-called liberals. Apparently, you're liberal enough to vote for the first black president in Obama. You voted for, I think, the oldest president in Biden, but you couldn't vote for women. I don't get it. I guess everyone has a line, and that was their line. It's like black guy, yeah. Old guy, yeah. Woman, nope. Nope. So to those people, fuck you too. The ones who couldn't vote for a woman, a very qualified, or women, like you say, because Hillary and Kamala, both very, very, very qualified. You know, and then the right would try to put up. Who'd they try to put up? I mean, they didn't really actually run, but they would talk about, I guess, Condoleezza Rice. I'm not sure if she's so qualified. Only she was a cabinet position. I don't think she ever did. She ever hold political office? A vote where she was voted in, right? She just was appointed whatever Bush appointed her as, and then she got on the board of the college football ranking system. You know, and then when you say I'm not voting for Rice, then they'll go, "Oh, are you prejudiced?" No, I'm just not voting for a moron. Okay, not that she's a moron. Condoleezza Rice is probably not a moron, but you know what I mean. Certainly not. Certainly does not have the bona fides, as one might say, of a Hillary Clinton or a Kamala Harris. I don't believe, not even close. Although, like I said, Condoleezza Rice, not a moron, very well educated. Just don't believe, just don't agree with their politics. DPD says, I think the intent on sending the Nazi Gestapo would be to possibly create an international incident. Can you imagine if they were to act a fool in France like they do here without impunity? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'd go over too well. I mean, I don't think France is going to play. I don't know. I can't even imagine France allowing them to have weapons, you know. No cars. My sister and friends used to take cabs and go to the mall and then jump out and run. Yeah, those are great. Those are runners. So far, knock on wood, I have not had any of those. But, Sandy Foltz, I'm going to make a blueberry cheesecake pie. That sounds good. I did do some grocery shopping yesterday, and I bought a couple packages because they just look so good. I should try them. I haven't had them yet, but I bought a little package of some blueberries and some raspberries. They look delicious. I think I'm gonna next time I make pancakes, I'm gonna put some of those in my pancake. Well, I guess blueberries is what you're supposed to put, and I got blackberries, so I don't know. But I'll figure out something. Or just eat them right out of the package, I guess. MJ Daniel or Nikki Haley, not even close. Yeah, not even close. I mean, I would say Nikki Haley closer, better than probably Condoleezza Rice. At least Nikki Haley was, what was she, governor or some shit? Sandy Foltz says, too bad the Bills aren't playing. They had their chance and they blew it. Yeah, so did the Rams. The Rams had their chance and they blew it. And I'm still, you know, I mean, you can say, yeah, we had deficiencies with our you know our defensive backfield, you know, our DBs and stuff. Our D line was kind of really inconsistent, and not applying constant pressure, maybe. But really, still, I think it was that the kickoff return in the early in the fourth quarter, where Xavier Smith or whatever his name is, totally muffed the catch of that punt. That really just that lost it for him right there. And I hope they fucking sent that guy packing by now. But they blew it, and it's really because of that guy. And I'm not gonna waver from that. Look, Dragon says, breaking news, the best team in the NFL is not going to win the Super Bowl. I disagree. I disagree with that. I think that whoever wins the Super Bowl has earned the right to be called the best team. That's what, otherwise, why have a Super Bowl? Why do all this shit if you're just going to say, well, on paper, the Rams were better, or the Bills were better, or whomever. No, they fucking earned it. Whoever wins, if it's the Seahawks or the Patriots, they fucking earned it. They played a grueling, 17-week schedule, 18 weeks, but I think 17 games. Are we still at 17 games? I know they want to go to 18. I can't remember. But plus, you made it through all the playoff rounds, and then you go into the Super Bowl and you win the goddamn thing. I think you've earned the right to be called the best team in football. I don't give a fuck if there's teams that have better records. Regular season records don't really mean shit, other than for seeding and to get you where you get seeded in the playoffs. That doesn't mean that you're better than another team that has a worse record than you. It really doesn't. So many things go into it during the season, injuries and weather or whatever. So I believe that whoever wins the Super Bowl has earned, and you can say that about any sport, any team that wins the championship, whatever it is, I think has earned the right to be called the best team or the best person if it's an individual sport. If you win the championship, that's what you've earned. You've earned the right to be called the best. It doesn't matter if someone has a better record than you, or they look fancier doing it, or they look, whatever, they look better. You win the championship, you earn the right to be called the best. And that's another hill I'm going to die on. David Dog says, speaking of the NFL, the giant Black Panther statues at the Bank of America Stadium really look cool with all that snow. I don't even remember seeing that. Barbara Nicholas says, yesterday was my birthday. My brother dropped off a beautiful fruit basket for me. Well, happy birthday, Barbara Nicholas. It's not too late to wish you a happy birthday. So happy birthday to Barbara Nicholas. A bit belated, but I think we're still within the window to just say happy birthday. I don't think. Now, if it was like 5 or 6 days later, maybe happy belated birthday. But I think we can still just say happy birthday at this point. Damon Dog says, I think Wes Webb is in Charlotte today, probably just a few miles from me right now. Oh, is he going down to see maybe a sister or something? I think he has relatives maybe down there. I don't know. Everyone's wishing Barbara a happy birthday. From DPD, Damon Dog, Noel Carnes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Barbara Nicholas. Happy birthday to you. And many more. I don't know. But yeah, happy birthday. And I think we're within the window. We can still just say happy birthday. DBD, another Aquarius. This is the age of Aquarius. No. How's that song go? Fifth Dimension? Isn't it the Fifth Dimension? It's like whatever. In the age of Aquarius. That was so. Talk about just a song that sort of kind of highlights the decade or the time. Such a 60s sort of hippie, you know, summer of love, you know, turn on, turn in, turn out, whatever the time, you know, drug experimentation, drug culture, you know, free love, which basically just meant, you know, hey, just have sex all over the place. But that, when I think of Age of Aquarius and all that, it just takes me right back to like 1968, even though I was only like 7 going on 8 years old. But still, I remember that shit. It was in the news. It was on TV. I had teenage cousins, and they were all hippies and shit. You know. So I remember all that shit. I was, you know, 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. DVD. Oh yeah, I just read that. Barbara Nicholas, you have me smiling. Well, I'm glad you're smiling. Noel Carter says, "When." Oh, well, I guess that was. I think that might have been some lyrics to the Fifth Dimension song there. And for some reason, Noel Carnes didn't want me to finish reading it. Anyhow, all right, guys. Oh my gosh, we've gone over 2 hours. Oh, it's 1:40 already. Jesus. See, this is why. Oh man, don't let me do this tomorrow. Because tomorrow I have to be. I would be 40 minutes late, right? I would if this was tomorrow. Don't let me. That's why tomorrow, if I go on, I think I'll try to do like a 9 a.m. show. Because tomorrow I have to be at work at 1 o'clock for that safety class. So don't let me forget that. Don't let me go late. I'm glad today's Wednesday. If today was Thursday, I would be fucked right now. Because the next class isn't until next week, and it just gets later and later. You know, I got stuff to do. I mean, I've got deadlines coming up as far as my getting my permit renewed, and I think I have to do another DOT medical certification, all that kind of shit. So if I miss tomorrow, then that just screws everything all the fuck up. So don't let me forget tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be. I got to make sure I'm out of the house and I'm there by 1 o'clock. So that means I got to leave here by at least probably, just to play it safe, just leave at 10 or 10:30. Just to play it safe. So guys, don't let me forget. So tomorrow, if I come on at 9, oh shit, that's only gonna, maybe we'll just do like an hour show. Or maybe I won't even do a show tomorrow. I don't know. But I probably should. Maybe we'll just do like an hour tomorrow or hour and a half. Just don't let me forget that I got to go and get to work at, you know, by 1 o'clock. All right, so I'm assigning you guys. You know, you guys are going to be my personal assistants tomorrow, and make sure that I am signing off and out the door, so I don't mess that up. All right, guys. So I should probably get going because I want to go to work today, and if I get an early enough start, it makes it a lot easier to get those 15. I would love to work every day the rest of this week, and get 15 rides a night, and that would give me like 75 rides. I've never had 75 rides, you know, in a week. I don't think, as a taxi driver. So it's sort of like my unofficial goal. I haven't made it. It's not an official goal. It's kind of like an unofficial goal. So, yeah, I want to get to work and get those rides in. Mad Max says, tune in, turn on, drop out. That was what it was. Summer of Love, 67. It was pretty cool. As I lived in San Francisco Bay Area back then, Golden Gate Park, free concerts, People's Park, etc. Yeah, I remember seeing that stuff like on TV, and because like I said, I was in '67. I turned 7 at the end of the year, so I was 6 going on 7. But I remember seeing all that shit on TV shows and news things, and like I said, I had teenager cousins that were all hippies, and they were dropping acid, you know, and smoking pot. My first acid and pot experiences are with my cousins, but not when I was 7. I was a little bit older. I was when I was a very early teenager, probably, I guess. Anyhow, yeah, put it, write it down. Yeah. I will. Don't do it now so you don't forget. Okay, okay. I have it on a post-it note, and it's prominently displayed. So, but there's that. Let's go a little old school with the post-it note. Barbara, you first. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a show yet tomorrow, but I kind of forgot about the logistics of it. Like, to make sure I'm there on time, I got to leave here. I got to be out the door by, or at least catching the bus, probably by no later than 10:30 a.m. And if I did a 9 a.m. show live stream, um, you know, before you know it, an hour and a half goes by. Like we were already almost 2.5 hours, and I can't believe we're already at 2.5 hours. So, anyhow. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. 29 watching, 45 thumbs up. So we are acting like pretty good Democrats. We got a pretty good surplus of thumbs ups there. I do appreciate you. We did get a couple. Well, we got one on the goal, so that means no Tough Cookie, no Paul, Purple Beard Guy. They have told me that they will not come out unless we make the goals. We start making the goals, they'll come out more. The fan funding. There it goes. Okay. We got Sandy Foltz. That's the $2 super sticker. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'm trying to give you a thumbs up. I don't know what's going on with my screen here, but anyhow. Sandy Foltz, thank you so much. And Noel Carnes, $5 super chat. So keep up the good work. So thank you, Noel Carnes. I do appreciate you for that. And thanks everyone for being here, for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I do appreciate you. And for coming out and hanging out. And I guess that's it for now. DBD says, great show, TJ. Thank you so much. Yeah, set your alarm. Yeah. Tim and Dog, we should have a Truckers on Zoom party. I don't even know how to do that, and I've stated that I don't really like Zoom. Is Zoom still? I guess Zoom still in existence? Didn't one of those go out of business? Anyhow, I don't want to get started and do another half an hour. City Folks, I have things to do. I want to make my blueberry cheesecake pie and bake, and I cook. I videotape my stuff on Facebook. All right, Sandy, have a good cooking session. Have a good Facebook live there, and yeah, everybody go to if you're on Facebook, look up for Sandy Foltz there and check out her videos. She does cooking videos. Sandy's looks like an excellent cook, most excellent cook. Sandy Foltz, buses are cheaper than cabs. They are. That's why I'm taking the bus I'm taking the bus to go to my cab driving job. You're absolutely right. The bus is almost like free. I mean, if you get a monthly pass, it's like $1 a day with my senior discount. I think a monthly pass is regular is like $60 or $65, and since I'm an old geezer, I get it's like a half price discount. So it's basically like $1 a day if you were to take the bus every day or whatever. So yeah, I'm taking a bus to go to my cab driving job because the irony, and they really hate it when you take Uber. They really hate that. You get all kinds of dirty looks from other drivers because that's especially the old timers that have been there a long time. I mean, that's rideshare is encroaching on this industry, the tax driving industry. They've seen from day one, they've seen rideshare as their number one enemy. So to see and the drivers pulling up to work in an Uber, it is what it is. I'm like, hey guys, I don't like this any more than you do, but I don't, I don't have a car, but I do take the bus probably, 90% of the time now. So, and I'm not the only one. There's a few other guys I see on the bus, and we all get off at the same stop and everything. And sometimes with Uber, I'll see 2 or 3 other people taking Ubers and stuff. So anyhow, here I am. I'm gabbing on. I need to end the show. I need to go. James Jaramillo is here. I'm saying goodbye. Barbara Nicholas says, "All right, don't make me say it. Get your ass off to work now." Yes, Barbara. Yes. Barbara is shagging me off to work, and that's not dirty, guys. I know. I thought it was like a dirty thing, but it's not. It just means that she's pushing me out the door or whatever, I guess. But yeah, Barbara Nicholas is shagging me out of the room. So just so you know, it's not dirty talk. All right, guys, thanks so much. You guys are awesome. Maybe we'll do a quick show tomorrow morning. And then you guys are going to remind me to, again, Barbara Nicholas and everyone else are going to shag me out the door so I can get to work and get to my my 1 year or my yearly, I guess, safety refresher course that is required and is part of the process of every year. You got to renew all your shit. All right, guys, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Oh yeah. Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom. I hope you guys talk about having your pad and pencils ready. I hope you guys are ready. Now I'm shifting the onus over to you. Get your pad, get your pencil ready. Because today's words of wisdom, quite possibly the best words of wisdom I've ever done. Okay, ready? All right, so for today's words of wisdom are as follows. Okay, ready?
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win. Right here on the Trucker John Livestream. Know it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, see the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Show's over, I'm out of here, folks. Bye.